Welcome to this week's first edition of the Brandstand, where we help business leaders to understand how investing in their brand strategy can help them to grow their business. My name's Craig McVoy, I'm the founder of Beyond Brand, and I've been helping business leaders for over 20 years now to grow their business by standing out from their competition, enabling them to attract more of their ideal customers and then keep them for longer. This week, we're going to be looking at efficiency gains and how building your brand can help you to deliver them. In this episode, we'll be looking at how reducing your operating costs is possible if you continue to work on building your brand. Well, you might be thinking, how can you reduce your costs by working on your brand? Well, there are some areas, in fact, most areas of your business touch your brand in some way or shape or form. Now, one of the biggest areas there is the cost of being unremarkable. You may recall we spoke about this in a previous video, but actually a lot of the costs in your business when trying to attract new customers are as a result of you being unremarkable. Having a reputation will attract people for free. So working on the brand experience that you give your customers and also your employees, then you will be able to reduce the amount of marketing because the amount of referrals that you do will flood in. People will know about your brand, they'll want to be a customer of your brand and they'll want to work for you. And those marketing and advertising costs spiral massively. If you look at across the world, over $1.3 trillion a year is spent on marketing and advertising, which is huge. And that takes into account a huge amount of wasted activity as well, because most of that never makes any difference at all as to when you are attracting a new customer to your business. But the other cost of being unremarkable is the cost that you get when you are encountering things like complaints. So not only have you got the cost of compensation, but you've also got the cost of recruiting and having a complaints team to deal with those complaints. The chances are, once you've been through a complaint, that you are less likely to spend more with that business. Although if your complaint is handled in a proper manner first time, then you will 90% of customers will return to using that brand in the future. But think about also the cost of being unremarkable through lost sales. Lots of people will not go ahead with a purchase, even if they want to buy that product or service, because of the service delivery of that on the way to the sale. Many people have even got as far as having items in their shopping basket online and then just cancelled completely that transaction because of the service and the help that they needed. And of course, the biggest way to keep costs to a minimum is by having retention of customers that use your business time and time again, because they cost nothing to market to and their average order value goes up significantly against the cost of a new customer. So there's lots of costs that can be encountered if your brand is not one that is delivering against its potential. But the biggest cost, of course, is normally in most businesses your people, your staff. Now that's a generalization. Some businesses won't be as high as that, but in most businesses it is the cost of your staff. And your brand plays a huge impact on what people think about you, both in terms of having an engaged employee or teams, should I say, both having those in place, but also the delivery that they give to your customers. You can't have a great customer experience without having a great employee experience. So the cost of getting that right is significant, as well as the cost of recruitment. I mean, the cost of getting a hire wrong, on average, this is an average role, is now £35,000. That's not even including the cost of things such as the lack of productivity whilst you're recruiting a new replacement, or even the cost of the of the customer experience across that. When a new employee joins your company, they're not going to be as effective at sales or service as somebody who's been there for some time. So the cost of that recruitment is huge, and the impact of that on your brand is significant. Of course, we've got the cost of sickness, and that applies across all businesses, but the bigger difficulty to fix is presenteeism, when your employees are actually in work but not firing on all cylinders. The cost of presenteeism last year in the UK alone was over £15 billion in terms of the impact on businesses. It's absolutely huge. So if you can keep your best people in your company engaged, then they're more likely to turn up and be firing on all cylinders as well. And we also know the best people come to the best companies. So when it comes to recruitment, if you want the best people working for your business, then you've got to offer them a great experience. And that comes from the brand experience that's given to your employees. Now, you might want to also take into account how good those people are at getting it right first time. The total cost of rework is significant in businesses, whereas getting it right on the first occasion can make a huge difference to your costs. You no longer have to answer those amendments and use the staff twice to do the job. You don't need to repeat those errors, as well as the impact it has on the customer's perception of your brand, and also the cost of your customer's time. How do you put a price on that? Perhaps you can't, but they will, because as we know, customers are all too keen on reducing the amount of time spent doing the things that they have to do so that they can fit in as much time in their lives to do the things that they want to do. So how can a brand help with that? How can a brand live up to its promise of being the best choice that a customer can get in terms of your service or product? And in terms of the amount of people who leave a business because of not getting it right first time, that's significant, and it's a big topic, so we're going to talk about that in the next episode. But to recap on this episode then, the first thing you need to be considering is about how can you remove and reduce a load of those costs by being unremarkable, by your brand delivering against what it could be, not against what it's doing today. Taking care of your employees is your biggest cost in your business, so make sure you're looking after them in terms of getting that right. And then also, as we've just said, getting it right first time can significantly reduce the cost of you having to put it right second time by making those errors. Come on! Look out for the next edition of the Brandstand this week, where we'll be asking the question, how many times does it take you to get it right? In the meantime though, if you want to attract more customers and then keep them for longer, click the link below and register for a place on our free Build a Brand Bootcamp that we're running towards the end of September. I hope to see you there, and I look forward to the next episode of the Brandstand. See you soon.